Well, it looks like I'm live, and as you can see, it's a bit of a different format today. And the reason it's a bit of a different format is because my internet's not working. So about 15 minutes before the show, I went to put together my final pieces that I was going to use today in my tabs and source for today's show, and all of a sudden the internet went off, and it's apparently off in other parts of the town here, and well, we just got to roll with what we got to go with. So I'm actually streaming through my phone. I feel like I'm the postal service. You know, it's just like sleet or snow or whatever, man. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver to you on a daily basis. So, and that goes back to my mailman days. You know, I was a mailman for about almost 2 years. It was a cool job. I enjoyed it. It was a job that allowed me to think a lot, which is sometimes good and sometimes not so good. What's happening, everybody? Um, you heard Tucker say it's over for Trump. Where did you hear that? That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else grossed out the concept of grabbing out of the fractal fold? You know, sometimes you have to, have your buckaroo banzai moment. You know, you have to go through the fifth dimension, and it's like your grab bag. Remember when you were a kid, they had the grab bag, and you just rummaged around, you got something, whatever that was. You didn't know what it was. So this is like the cosmic grab bag. Isn't smelling toast a sign of a stroke? I don't know about that. Tim Terror, glad you finally catch the show from the start. You know, this is a kind of a very interesting moment for me because I've been up since about 4 in the morning and just getting my shit together. You know, because I don't have enough time in the day. So it's like let me start really early and try to do a bunch of things so that by the time I hit 3 or 4 o'clock and everything's winding down, I've gotten as much done as possible. So I went to bed early last night, which is different for me, and I wound up getting up early. And then I got, then I did everything. It's like, okay, I've got my show together. I'm going to schedule it, right? And I'm going to hit my mark at 8:45, and then the internet goes up. Welcome to Uranus transiting your sixth house. It is really interesting. Okay, what else do we have? We got Sigurd in the house. What's going on, Sigurd? Let's see, butter and nuts when you're cooking. Here's Mike. Joe Dimitri. Does the sun transit Neptune? Well, actually, Neptune transits the sun, but the sun transits through Pisces, which is the ruler, which is ruled by Neptune. Uncle Glenn, better grab another cup of Joe while I have time. Let's see, Coach K, what we got here? All right, we got, let's see, who else? Craig Corcoran, what's going on, Craig? Scrolling through. There's Sherry. Hey, Sherry, nice to see you. Fractal Fold, something like out of Lovecraft. You either go insane from the revelations or end up on your knees praying for 1,000 years of darkness. There's got to be a third option. Just saying. Let's see what else we have. Yep. Okay. What else do we have here? I want to get back to Uncle Glenn's comment. Where is it? Hello, Natalie Remington. There's Ani. Let's see who else. Lisa Marie, Laura D. The aforementioned Ryan. Who do we have here? Tamara Kaneen. 1111, my number. Beautiful. Texas Norton NZ. What's going on, man? You're way up. Way up. I want to go back to, I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. Let's see. He's got Independent Dakota, UK. All right. I'm going to go to that. See if I can get to that. I can't get to anything because my internet's down. You know what's interesting is Fox News Host has finally conceded that Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the results of the presidential election love would certainly be fruitless. Wow, interesting. So Tucker, I'll tell you what's fascinating is that um, Tucker was so last night. I watch him, and last night he basically stayed away from the election process. Right? He didn't really talk about it. Instead, he talked about defunding the police, which was mildly interesting in some ways. Mildly interesting. So he stayed away from it. And then after he went from defunding the police, he got into what was it? I think he got into this vaccine or what was it was no it had to do with the guy who was slated to run Joe Biden's coronavirus task force. And I'm not talking about Zeke Emanuel. It's this guy from Michigan who is another one of these scientistic nerds, and lock everybody down. And I think the keynote, or the key one of the key words was, if you're in a restaurant, talk softly. Put your mask on, take it off, put your food in your mouth, put your mask back on in between bites, and talk softly. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre. At least the guy was. Then he brought on Dr. Mark Siegel, and I was trying to cue this thing up. And it was just a completely bizarre interview. Siegel was talking about how Trump's general, who is supposed to roll out the vaccine program, was this great guy. Like, he started from nothing. It's that good old self-made man story, right? He started from nothing, and now he's a 2-star general in the army. I think his name is Perna. Last name is Perna, and he's in charge of getting these vaccines out to 300 million Americans. And did you know, Tucker? I'll do my Dr. Mark. And did you know, Tucker, that that's kind of sounding a little bit like Bernie Sanders. Let me see if I do it. And did you know, Tucker, that the vaccines must be delivered at 80 below? 80 below. I can't do it right because I want to sound too much like Bernie Sanders, but they're close. They're very close. So he says that the vaccines have to be delivered at 80 degrees below zero. That's a lot of refrigeration. Think about that for a minute. You're making 300 million vaccines, and you're going to move them all around the United States in various locations, and they've got to be frozen up to like 80 degrees below zero. What can go wrong with that? Please tell me, what can go wrong with that? I'm not sure, but I think if anything could go wrong, it would. I mean, what if it even goes down like to minus 40? I mean, that's still really cold, but it's not minus 80. And they sit around and go, hey, see this? Minus 40. And don't worry about it. It's still really cold. No, seriously, it's minus 40. It's supposed to be minus 80. Don't worry about it. Trust me. They'll never know. You know that shit would happen. I just feel like a talking head today. It's like a giant talking head. Like that's really that really makes me feel good. Makes me feel good that they're going to have these vaccines carted around at minus 80. But that wasn't the weirdest part. You should have seen Tucker's look on his face, by the way, as Dr. Mark Siegel went off on this great military Walter Mitty story. It was ridiculous. Anyway, and do you know what he's going to do, Tucker? Do you know what he's going to do? One word: execute, execute, execute. I'm like, what the fuck? Execute? That's the last thing I want some fucking military guy to do, is to execute. Please. Like, deliver? Maybe you could have used the word deliver, or maybe that was intentional. There's only one thing he's going to do, Tucker. You know what that is? Deliver. 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 But he's execute. But, I mean, really? Would you use the word execute and vaccine together in one sentence? I get a little troubled. I may be a little paranoid, but I'm not sure those two words should really be used in the same sentence. Anyway, there was a moment last night when I was watching Tucker Carlson, and he was talking about the voter fraud. And there was a moment where he had to tell. I'm telling you, I saw it last night. I wish I had the fucking internet. I could go back and show you guys. It pisses me off. Maybe I'll just fire my computer up here. See if I can do that. I don't know if I can do like share screens. Let me see if I can get my internet up here. It said by 11. Great. All right, hold on. We'll just see what's happening here. Let's see. We got total fuckery because now I can get online. How about that? Total fuckery. I wonder if I could go onto the studio. Maybe I should try that. Oh, look who's back. I gotta do this now. I have here, and then let me mute this here. Okay. Can you guys still hear me? I've never done. I'm feeling like I'm living in this Gemini world now. I've really stepped into the Gemini zone. There's like two of me now. Multiplicity. This is funny shit. All right, so let me see if I can get here. Let's bring in a little spiritual assistance here. All right, so let's do the invocation. Dear blessed and holy Mother, Father, God of the great central sun, within universal light, which is the light of Yeshua, Sananda, Emmanuel, we ask that only the highest and best information and truth come through this channel at this time, that we're blessed and graced with the qualities of patience, forbearance, fortitude, strength, flexibility, pride, courage, humor again, one more time. Let's get a double dose of humor today. Commitment, resolve, passion, intellect, wisdom, empathy, compassion, imagination, creativity, and above all, love. Okay, so this is going to be kind of strange. So you're going to see me kind of look a few different ways. So I got to look over here while I'm looking over here. It's very odd. So I wanted to, so one of the things about Tucker, which I wanted to get into, is he was talking about whether or not President Trump has, the right votes or the right number of votes, and he did something. He did a tell. If you don't know what a tell is like a movement that is used in poker, or it's not even used. You're not even supposed to use it, but if you watch people, they have tells. And when he was talking about it, he broke camera with his eyes and looked right. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like he knows something. He knows something. Now, Fox has been a complete yo-yo, and they're like up and then down. They're up and then down. So it looked like they were starting to sort of turn the ship towards Trump. And then last night, Hannity was supposed to have on a whistleblower from this Dominion software and canceled. He canceled that interview. And that interview is available. I believe it's on D Live, and there's a guy named Red Pill 78 or something like that. He's got that interview. It's interesting. The last name is Corone. It's not quite Corona, but it's kind of close. And uh, and it, I listen. I didn't think the interview was that compelling. So there's information in there, but she's not a good interview. He spends about 50 minutes trying to get to like her role and some of the anomalies. You have to sit through it, put the information together. It's actually reasonable once you sit through it. And for all you men out there, just to let you know, she's somewhat attractive. So sitting through it may not be as difficult as one might think. However, that said, the content sometimes is quite important. And, superficial looks or renderings can only hold your attention for so long, right? It's got to be meat on the bones. Anyway, so that's what happened last night with Hannity. So this is an interesting turn of events with Tucker. Now, Ani sent me a text today, and the text was, and I wish I could get into it now because I can't grab it. But the text was that apparently, like Facebook and Twitter have just completely cut Trump off. So if you want to get in touch with the president and you want to basically send in your self-addressed stamped envelope to use it as evidence that the Americans want to recount so they can take millions of letters to the Supreme Court, I guess that's what you've got to do now. And I'm not sure how to get to my messages, because if I do, I may go away from the screen, in which case we might lose the picture here. So I think that's up everywhere, or at least probably on Facebook, unless they even let you put up the White House's address on Facebook. Oh, you can't do that. Anyway, there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. And I'm a little surprised at Tucker, but, let's just say at a certain point, you stop being surprised. Like, it has to be really, really like massive to be like really surprised. It's getting close, but I'm not entirely surprised. So we're going to see how this plays out. So yesterday, apparently Gina Haspel spent a fair amount of time with Mitch McConnell. And there are people that are dropping like flies in the Trump administration, and some of it is really good. One of the guys that got booted was this guy, Richard Pilger. Actually, he left because he was the, let's see, where is he? An American attorney and government official who served as the director of the Election Crimes Branch at the Criminal Division of the United States Department of Justice. So this guy Pilger went in there in 2010. That's Obama's watch. And he was there for 10 years. So he worked for Eric Holder. This guy is an Obama holdover. I don't understand how the Trump administration could hold on to these Obama holdovers unless they just wanted to see how long they could keep the rotten fish around before they needed to throw it out. Like how many rotten pieces of fish do you need in your refrigerator before you know that it's time to like start cleaning out your refrigerator? You know what I mean? Or just food in general. So he was around for the election, and now I guess out of protest, he doesn't want to stick around. So Pilger is an interesting character, just with the scant amount of information, which is quite interesting in and of itself. He seems like he is a lifer. Like he has spent almost all of his time in quote unquote government service, And he first, let's see, he graduated in 1987 with a degree in English and philosophy from Notre Dame. That would be Amy Coney Barrett's alma mater, also in the home state of Mike Pence. By the way, somebody called me yesterday and told me that my classification of Pence's classification was incorrect. So I stand corrected. I'll always admit when I said something incorrectly. So the call letters, which were Sam, I think 239, that really I believe is closer to his actual call letter. So it wasn't AF2 to Sam 239. So I must retract that. I have to retract that because we have to stay clear and honest and upfront as much as possible. So there you go. Okay, so let's go back to this. This is also Mike Pence's state, Indiana. Now, the thing that really grabbed me was that Pilger had been previously involved in the IRS targeting controversy after being linked to Lois Lerner. In 2013, the United States Internal Revenue Service revealed that it had selected Republican political groups applying for tax-exempt status for intensive scrutiny based on their names or political themes. Pilger, in his capacity as the head of the Election Crimes Branch, met with exempt organizations under Unit Director Lois Lerner in October 2010 to discuss the problems of tax-exempt groups spending in the upcoming 2010 midterm election. It wasn't progressive groups, it was conservative groups. Subsequent congressional investigations and a 2017 report by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration found deficient IRS management practices. But of course, no targeting, partisan targeting misconduct. So they did something wrong. They figured it out. But obviously for them, there was no intent, or maybe not so obvious. Not so obvious. It was probably obvious, but they wanted to make it not so obvious. So anyway, they were busted. They were guilty. But oh no. I don't think so. It's kind of like Hillary Clinton. It was all about the intent. Well, there really wasn't any criminal intent there. There wasn't any criminal intent. I can tell you firsthand that I know people during that time that were absolutely harassed and had their accounts gutted by the IRS during that period of time. First-hand accounts. Anyway, he's gone, and a bunch of other people are gone. A bunch of people from the military side of things, they're gone. So they're getting flushed. I mean, this guy should have been gone long time ago. I guess I can start to do. I can share screen over here. This is so weird. Maybe if I just kind of arrange these things so I can kind of look at myself here. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that's better. All right. So, yeah, man, things are getting quite bizarre, especially if Tucker Carlson kind of went up. But I saw that last night. I saw that thing I saw him do that tell last night. It's like, what is up with Tucker? Something is up with Tucker. I'll put my name in here. There we go. All right. Something is up with Tucker. Okay, let's talk about Gina Haspel. It looks like Haspel is out. And look who's here. The Lord of Chaos himself. What are you gonna do, man? You gonna get up here? Hold on. I gotta prepare for your entrance. Swear to God, ever since Uranus moved into my 6th house, it's been nothing but chaos around work stuff. Say hi, everybody. There he is. The co-producer and the actual star of the show. Yeah. So it looks like Gina Haspel is out. And here's here's what happened. So this Dominion software is kind of an off-the-shelf CIA product, and it's what they use to turn elections in other countries. And basically, what they did is they domesticated it and then used it here in this country. So it's got the CIA's fingerprints all over it, and so they're kind of caught red-handed, right? And it looks like she's gonna walk. Now again, nothing's final till it's final. But I do have a picture of her. She's rarely seen in public. And so it's right here. What do we got? Hold on. Jasper, what are you doing, man? Oh, it's Laura Ingraham. Another one of the Fox turncoats. All right, here's the Gina Haspel photo. I'm going to show it to you. So this is her. She's coming out of Fish McConnell's office right here. And everybody's wearing a mask. Staying safe. Some of these comments crack me up. Like, look at this comment. Just noticing. Hands pointing forward, palms together. Pinky ring, left hand. Red spot rubbed into forehead directly over the nose. Also, everyone wearing masks for recent photos is smart. Lots of crazies out there. Hers, high and tight. Like, what the fuck is that? I had to comment, of course. Here's my comment. What are you, the Howard Cosell of DC medical etiquette? Just noticing. Hands, forward palms together. Pinky ring, left hand. Red spot rubbed into her forehead directly over the nose. Also, dandy don, everyone wearing masks for recent photos. It's smart. Lots of crazies out there. Hers, what the fuck is this? It's like Gina Haspel, mask play-by-play. Boy, that was profound. Not. Sorry. Sometimes I can be a bit of a wise ass on Twitter. Okay. So it looks like she's gone. It looks like she's like out of there. Okay. Now, again, this is a rapidly moving river. We had John Brennan on with Chris Cuomo. Was it Chris Cuomo? Basically, he was saying that Trump was a dissident. I think being a dissident's okay. That Trump was a dissident and that they had to forcibly remove him. And Mike Pence should be listening so he could be involved in using the 25th Amendment to remove Donald Trump. Brennan's kind of freaked out because they were starting to talk declassification. And in fact, Brennan used that exact words. He was like, he made declassify. I think those were the words he used. He made declassify everything. It's like, wow, really? Good. Let's get it out. Let's get it out. God, everybody's wearing fucking masks now. It's just gotten ridiculous. It has just gotten fucking ridiculous. Here, let me show you. Here's a Bill Barr got off his couch. And he's wearing the official mask. Yes, you can get an official United States government Department of Justice mask. Just send $14.99. I don't know what this guy's got. What is this? Is that Rutgers? I don't know what that is. And then he's just got the generic jockstrap, tighty-whitey undie mask. The mask does strange things to ears too. Do you see that? It's like if he didn't have the ear flap here, those ears would be a little bit closer. But now they're looking like Circus appendages there. Anyway, God, it's just the mass thing is just ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. All right. So I think Haskell might be gone. But, just when we think we're getting confident about this whole thing getting flushed, then we have Tucker come in. And look, Tucker is one of those people, man. Like, that's going to be the litmus test. If that's true and what he said is true, that's a big litmus test. Because that's one person that people have trusted consistently. Now, I will say this. I really like Tucker. He's grown on me. Initially, I couldn't stand him. That was a smarmy prick. But when he was kind to Hunter Biden, I was like, what's really going on here? Is it because they were neighbors and Tucker is practicing some sort of virtuous morality? Was this some sort of, Christian conservative virtue signal? Was that what was really going on? Or was Tucker basically saying, we have our limits and we're not going to go there and we're not going to support what can happen? Was he just really being kind of a mouthpiece for Fox at that time? And I have to say, it wasn't like I was disappointed in him, because I'm not sure if he really has that in his nature. That's more Steve Bannon territory. But frankly, from my perspective, there should be no quarter with these people. No quarter. Do you think that they show quarter for the so-called people on the right or conservatives or Christians or anybody who really disagrees with them? Do you think they show any quarter with them? Fuck no, they don't. So why should any quarter be shown and given towards them? Sorry. Especially somebody who is as egregious as Hunter Biden. I can hide my current comment. Why don't I do that? Like that. There we go. Why? Why should that happen? I mean, I get it. There's somebody who probably has wandered into a minefield, and that's, they don't really have any history of being a big time perp. It's just a series of really bad choices compounded by more bad choices. But before that, there's, pretty steady Eddie, pretty straight and narrow. In a case like that, you probably say, okay, hey, look, you made some really bad choices. You kept doubling down. Okay. So we're going to lay off and we're going to put you on ice over here for a while and not going to move you around. Right. That's what I would think. But this is not the case with Hunter Biden, and it's not even close. So I think no quarter would have been really the tactic to take there. God, I had all this stuff. It was ready to go. Ready to fucking go. Okay. By the way, everybody's putting president-elect on their Twitter feed now. You can be president-elect. Remember that. You can be president-elect. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? So here's the plan. Here's how they plan on doing this thing. They plan on having votes invalidated. Like states that want to offer a recount, it's not happening. They want to have the votes invalidated. And by invalidating the votes, what will happen theoretically is that it will go to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will send it to the states for the states' electors to then vote based on that state's party affiliation. And it's not even close. There's 30 plus states that are Republican. So that means that each state would have to vote based on its majority party. And that happens, Trump gets in. And this is really their plan. And I'm not sure they want to go expose the CIA voting mechanism or Dominion software, which is apparently owned by the Pelosi's, or part ownership, that Paul Pelosi has has a stake in that. Imagine that. So that's the plan. They want to get all these votes invalidated. And I was watching Giuliani yesterday. I can't believe this. He's got a weird chart, by the way. I'm gonna look at his chart on Sunday night. He's got a very odd chart. So I was listening to Giuliani, and that's pretty much how they're going to go. They're going to get these votes invalidated, and they're going to throw this thing into back to the state legislatures and let each state vote, and that's how theoretically Trump will get elected. So, but there's a lot of ground to cover from here to there, and if Tucker is basically retreating on this thing, that's a very interesting development. Very interesting development. So what else did I want to bring up here today? Okay, now Jasper wants to. What do you want? Well, what do you want? What do you want? Calm down, man. Calm down. All right. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just scanning some headlines here. Okay. It's really amazing the division that's taking place. So Lynn Wood, who's the guy that represented Richard Jewell, he's also representing Kyle Rittenhouse in Wisconsin, and he also represented Nick Sandmann, and he actually won. And Lynn Wood says, "Time to rest. Comfortable in my belief that Donald Trump won a historic landslide victory across nation on November 3rd. Be patient." This is his tweet from 7 hours ago. "Biden will never be president of our nation. To the contrary, Biden, along with many others, will be an inmate. Be patient. Trust Trump." I'm going to show you guys this tweet. 7 hours young. Check this out. This is a very powerful indictment right here. See that? "Time now to rest comfortable in my belief that @real Donald Trump won a historic landslide victory across nation on November 3rd. Be patient. Biden will never be president of our nation. To the contrary, Biden, along with many others, will be an inmate. Man, be patient. Trust Trump." So this guy, Lynn Wood, he's not a guy that puts his reputation on the line. He's a big-time trial lawyer. In fact, he's actually representing Trump. What do you make of that? Okay, so then let's do this. What happens? Okay, what happens if Trump pulls this off and does this kind of end around and exposes the system and stays in the White House? Where are you with Tucker Carlson at that point? Where are you with Tucker Carlson? Because Fox News has already lost, like 15 million viewers? Like the one guy in America that most people have come to trust because he's been pretty straight, pretty honest with them. And if this is true, and he said that, and he had that tell last night, when he went like that, right? It was like, what does Tucker know? Or what are they trying to tell Tucker? All right, I'm going to try and find this Mark Siegel clip so you guys can find it, so you can watch him. I'm not sure I did it justice. I tried to, though. All right, let me see. Let's see. 5 months ago, Mark Siegel, Tucker Carlson. 6 months ago, 1 month ago. Come on, man. Come on, man. How about last night? Just for the comic relief around this thing. Yes, I found it. Okay, so I want you to watch Tucker's face on this though. This is comic relief right here. You gotta watch his face. All right, here we go.
Major development, the quest for the coronavirus vaccine. As Pfizer announced, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says there's a downside.
The bad news is that it's about 2 months before Joe Biden takes over. And that means this administration is going to be implementing a vaccine.
Oh, audio is horrible on that. My apologies. Here he is.
All he's doing is shaking confidence in a vaccine that we have very exciting news about. And our big problem is going to be vaccine compliance. How does the Department of Defense, which knows the word deployment, don't they, partners with the CDC and McKesson, a company that has already sent vaccines around the country multiple times? The plan is in place and has never been done this way before. They're already geared up to already send out 50 to 100 million doses.
And this audio thing is not working for me. Sorry about that. And now frozen on the screen. Okay. Anyway, it was comic relief. And all right, let's reset. You know, I swear to God, I had everything together this morning. And then they decided to flip this little internet switch on me today. But I'm not taking it personally. Not at all. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, which really had to do more with consciousness, because it's really easy to get caught up in the drama and the pageant, in the theater, in the slow motion, Sam Peckinpah train wreck that we're watching, with the hopes that some of these bad actors can be removed and we can buy some time and try to put the fourth industrial revolution and the Great Reset back on its heels. I mean, this is what we have to do. And we know what that's going to look like under Biden. It may look something similar under Trump. I don't know. It could, but at the very least, we might have a fighting chance because of the amount of chaos that Trump brings to the table, and maybe that he wants to kind of control it or run the deck. But I certainly am not thrilled with the prospect. Oh, by the way, Tucker Carlson talked about being forced to take a vaccine. He talked about that last night. Now that I remember that. So what I'm going to try to do tomorrow is I'm going to try to go back and piece together the Mark Siegel interview and where Tucker was actually talking about being forced to take a vaccine. So that's interesting. Again, I think if we're going to pump the brakes on this thing, we're going to have to sort of put our trust in Trump to sort of muck things up or take control of it or make it non-mandatory. But really, I think it's very important, and I cannot overstate this enough, is that the state of medical emergency must be removed. Like, the states cannot run their own show. That's why we're in this mess right now. That's why Wisconsin and Minnesota and Utah are about to go into full-on lockdown. I was talking with my mother, and they went from code orange to code red yesterday. And the only way that this thing stops is if that emergency order is rescinded. And it has to be. For us to get out of this stupid fucking situation, it has to be rescinded. And that's going to be on Trump. Because Biden won't rescind it. And I'm not even sure Trump will. Trump might want to keep it in play so he can have more chaos and, kind of run maybe the vaccine game. We're in uncharted territory here. And it would have been great if he could have just, squashed Fauci and all this bullshit like a bug when it first happened. And I have my gripes when it comes to how that process went down. And it's still going down. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to just deal with it. We're going to have to deal with the fact that it may not look as perfect as we want it to, but we're going to have to push back regardless of who's president. Doesn't matter whether it's Trump or whether it's Biden. Both of them don't get a pass. They don't get a pass because if we lay down for this, it's over. It's over. Klaus Schwab and the Davos group and his buddies in Tel Aviv and Shanghai and Beijing are going to run the show. They're going to run the show. So I'm encouraged over the fact that at the very least, there's a serious challenge to what's going on with Biden. And it's looking more and more like this thing is going to go to the Supreme Court and they're going to have the electors vote. Where it goes from there, God only knows. Update, apparently there's going to be a 1 million person march in Washington, D.C. And I actually talked about that. I said it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And apparently it's this weekend. And Eventbrite was, people were advertising this thing on Eventbrite to let everybody know. So the person who runs Eventbrite basically said, it's canceled. Sorry, the event's canceled. Go home. It's not happening. Well, that's not really true. It's still happening. But this shows you how many gatekeepers they have and how much information they want to keep locked away. It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So anyway, if you plan on going to Washington, D.C. this week or this weekend, apparently the march is still on. And if you're within hailing distance, I'd encourage you to do that. I think it would be a real show of strength. Real show of strength. Now, whether or not the media will actually report it, well, that's another thing altogether. I mean, they could have 1 million people there, and they would probably focus on about a group of about, 500. Small group shows up to attend and to escort the president. And you zoom out, there's like a massive amount of people. They do that all the time. They always underreport on that stuff. There's a lot more I wanted to share with you today, and I'm going to have to skip the video part. It's just amazing. Just amazing what goes on. Let me show you this. This is what was happening in Oregon. For all you Oregonians. Check this out. Oregon's elections director was abruptly fired in a text message by the Secretary of State after he pointed out serious issues with the state's aging and vulnerable technology for running elections. So Stephen Trout learned in a text message Thursday night, as his department and county officials were still counting votes from November 3rd election, that he was out. On Friday, Secretary of State Bev Clarno, a Republican, appointed to the position by Democratic Governor Kate Brown, announced to county clerks and other elections officials in Oregon's 36 counties that today is also Steve Trout's last day with the agency. How about that? So apparently, Bev Clarno is pretty much a Republican in name. Now, Oregonians won't have to put up with Bev Clarno much longer because she is no longer the Secretary of State. She was replaced by another woman. So Oregon has a female governor, a female Secretary of State and a female Attorney General. Where have we seen that before? That's apparently the new model. That's all the rage. We saw it in Michigan. I saw this other thing. God, what was it? It was crazy. So I can find it. It was this woman who is, what is she? She's a, hold on. Let's see. See if I can find the story. This just happened. You know, you're just living in cuckoo world. Hold on. Okay, here it is. This is so damn funny. All right, so this is a city health commissioner, I think, from Portland. I got to show this to you guys. It's just, all right, so check this out. Commissioner Hardesty gets into dispute with Lyft driver, calls 911. City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty called 911 earlier this month to report a dispute with her Lyft driver. I got a Lyft driver that decided he would just drop me off at a filling station, and he wants me to get out. I'm not getting out of the car in the dark at a filling station. It's just not happening, she told the 911 dispatcher. So here's the story. Hardesty ordered a pickup at Ilani Casino, but reportedly got into a dispute with the driver over the pickup location, and then complained about the windows being rolled down. When the driver cut the ride short and tried to drop her off at a gas station, she called 911 or 911. So what happened is that this guy was following, this is all just her side of the story. This guy was following what Uber told him to do, which is if he's got a passenger that he has to have the windows cracked, right? It's like their little, COVID-19 sort of stipulation. So he did that and she complained. And the Uber driver has the right to, drop you off at any time. Doesn't matter if you're a city commissioner. I'm not sure he knew she was a city commissioner. So he didn't like her attitude. He thought that she would be a problematic fare, and he dropped her off. He could do that. So she called 911, and then he called 911, and guess what? They didn't make him do anything. And she wanted him to make the call and have Uber send somebody else over, and that's not part of Uber's protocol. So she had to be in the gas station in the dark and eventually get another Uber car. But the whole thing is just fucking ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like hanging out at the Indian casino and getting the Uber and then demanding that he roll the windows up. I'll tell you, sometimes I think that a major earthquake and a massive tsunami can't happen fast enough on this planet. And I have high hopes for humanity. I really do. But sometimes, you have to figure out how we're going to separate the wheat from the tares. So here's what I want to do. There's a lot more I wanted to show today, but I don't trust the internet connection, and because it looks like I'm kind of glitching out here a little bit and kind of having some lag time issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset, and I'm going to be back tomorrow. And hopefully, because there's a lot more I wanted to share, and I've got a pretty interesting idea and concept that I would love for us to kind of, how do I say this, wrap our heads around and be able to think about how we can essentially move the future into the present by folding time. So we're going to talk about that. I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm going to bring some astrology into the show tomorrow. Leon, who is probably in chat, sent me a really interesting chart for Saturday, and we're going to look at that. I'll bring that in tomorrow. And there's also some video I want to play. There's a woman whose son was forced to wear a mask, and she passed out. And not she passed out, her son passed out at school. And she's really pissed. She's really, really pissed. I'm going to leave that link in the show page, so because it's part of the headline for today's show. So you guys can grab that and look at that. And it's really unfortunate. The kid just basically passed out from lack of oxygen. So a lot of parents are really fed up. They're just totally fed up with this whole thing. And probably more going to get even more upset as it keeps going on and on and on. So thank you for putting up with the weird optics today. It's unfortunate if I just waited maybe another 10 minutes. But, you know, I set everything up. I wanted to be here on time. It's like, this is it. It's going to be a new leaf. It's going to be a new leaf. I'm going to be organized, dedicated, timely, efficient. But I guess Spectrum had other ideas. So, all right. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a fully loaded deck with my man, Jasper. Jasper, you want to say goodbye to everybody? You want to say goodbye? Hey, my man, Jasper, right there. Also saying goodbye. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to step what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Thanks again for being here. If you want to support the show, I got a little link in the show page. I'll also put up the link for the video with the mama bear who's had enough with her kid. And, you know, let's just, you know, hold the line. You know, Todd Rundgren has a song. It's about, I don't know, 2 minutes, 40 seconds long, 2 minutes and 46 seconds long. It's called Just One Victory. And that's all we need is just one victory, and we'll be on our way. Okay? Hang in there, hold the line, keep your resolve together. And we're going to get through this. I'll see you tomorrow.